in many drafting professions, you need to draw lines with different patterns. If you're working in the mechanical field, you might want a center line pattern. You can change the line types within the dCAD environment by moving to this drop-down list here alongside that particular zone on the screen. You can see here we've got a lot of different line types. We could draw dot lines or hidden lines or divide lines or so on. I've set it at what's called centerline 2. These line types come from the AutoCAD environment. We try and make dCAD as compatible with AutoCAD as we possibly can. So now I'm going to use the draw command. I'm going to draw a line horizontally across the screen. Maybe we will draw it 10 units in length. And so when we hit the Enter key, you can see that that line has a long dash and a short dash. If we select it and right-click and go to Properties, you can see there's the centerline pattern, and its length is, in fact, 10 units. So we could draw another line, another centerline running in the same way. I'm going to use the L shortcut now rather than pick it from the drop-down menu, and again we'll move through here. They won't precisely intersect at their midpoint, but each line is in fact 10 units long, and I'm not too worried about whether they bisect one another. What I am going to do now is draw a circle centered on the intersection of those two lines. So I'll change the line type away from a center line to a continuous line, and I'll set my O-snap to intersect because I want to pick up the intersect. So I'll draw a circle now, center radius, pick up the intersect of those two lines and drag out, and we'll give it 3 units for the radius of that circle. I'll draw another circle, same center radius, picking up the same point there, and I'll go out with a radius of 4. So we've got what looks like a washer or a flange. And what we're now going to do is to draw a circle here, and we're going to put a number of copies of that circle in that outer zone. Imagine that was a piece of metal. In order to do that, I'm going to pick my drawing color as red, and I'll just zoom in a little here, and I'll draw a line from one intersection to another. You can see that dCAD still finds an intersection even though there appears to be a gap there. And then I'll draw another circle, center radius, but before I do, I'll change to midpoint. That will mean that I can pick up the midpoint of here, and I can pull out and give that a radius that is appropriate. We'll use 0.35 of a unit. So now we've got our circle, so all it remains to do is just to rotate that circle, copy and rotate that circle around. To copy and rotate the circle, we need to reset our O-snap back to intersection so that we can find it, and we'll select the circle. This time I'll right-click rather than go to the modified drop-down, and I will pick rotate. And I'm being asked for a base point, so we're going to rotate it around the center of the two circles. So I select it, and if I hold the Shift key down as I'm doing it, and I rotate around, and I'll pull out a fair distance here, and when my beige indicator shows, I can click. That hole is now 45 degrees away from the previous one, and then I can again wait for my beige indicator to show and click, and I'll right click to finish. Hit the escape key. I now have 3 holes there. I'll just zoom out a little. Rather than continue on in that vein, although I could, I'll select the 3 holes now. No, I don't need to select all 3, do I? I'm going to mirror them, so I really only need these 2. And so I'll modify and mirror. And if I set my O-snap to end, I can get the first point of the mirror line there and the second point of the mirror line there. And if I hold my Shift key down while I'm doing it and click, then we get a mirroring effect. And again, we can do that again, can't we? If we right-click and repeat that mirror command, we need to select that one, and that one. Holding our Shift key down, we should be able to O-snap to the end of that one. Sorry, I need to hit my Enter key. First point in the mirror line, end, and second point in the mirror line, end, and end. I forgot to click. And there we are, we've completed the operation. So we've drawn a couple of circles and put holes effectively in it, but we've got a centerline pattern. So the major point of the movie was to show that you can set different line type patterns within the dCAD environment.